So let's start. So today we have a very interesting profile on us a person, right? Just to let you guys know, Samir is actually my friends. We used to work together in Kuala Lumpur. Basically, is my camera still frozen? Or you can see me better now? So basically, we used to work together. When I actually worked in Kuala Lumpur as operation manager, then later I moved to Google. Samir was our regional training manager. So I can give a quick introduction about Samir, right? So he used to work in Gempact in India, right, Samir? Again, about the Google
Okay.
Ads. Google Ads, and he started, with all those time, like very very old time, and he moved to Malaysia. Become a regional training manager that not only leading Kuala Lumpur, which is we cover Southeast Asia, Greater China, Korea, but also Japan as well, right? So. And I'm really, really proud of Samir. The reason why, because the day that I left Google and I joined Teleperformance, he actually got the job in Facebook, right? And right now he has working as a global training manager in Facebook. So I mean, it's just very a good career jump if you see that. So that's the reason why today we invite him. So I think he can actually share a very useful experience that he have, how he actually moved on his career. Before we started, I just want to let you guys know that this session has been recorded as usual, just for the training, purposes, right? I pass to you, Samir. All yours.
Thank you so much. I don't know how to beat this wonderful introduction, but I'm feeling so honored. You made my 2020 amazing. Yeah, whatever low feeling we do, like this sort of introduction and inviting me in the first place. You made my day and the year actually. But yeah, thank you so much again. For all of you, Azura and the team, for inviting me. I really, really, from the bottom of my heart, feel privileged and honored to be part of this someday or the other. So, what I am also, I want to check actually with you guys is how are you guys doing today? Because for me, core to my heart is well-being, both mental as well as health well-being. So I just want to pause quickly and like this is not necessarily I'm speaking and you guys are listening. I'm not a TED Talk speaker, neither I'm an influencer, I guess. So yeah, let's have we are meeting for the first time, and hopefully this would be a long-standing relationship. But let's try to interact. So I mean, anybody can just tell me how is it going, how is the feeling like, how are you taking care of yourself, your mental well-being, and your family?
Guys, feel free to jump to the calls and then share some experience of yours.
Hi, Samir. This is Maxime.
Hey, Maxine.
Thank you so much for asking. This is really, really special that you open like this. And yeah, thank you so much. And really excited to be here. Personally speaking, just slowing down really and trusting into a space that we're not knowing what happens next, and just really taking care of what I need and looking at what are my needs. If that's connection or if that's in the realm of health, and if there are restrictions, how can I move my body, or how can I be the most healthy person with restrictions in place over which I have no control, for example. And really just, yeah, lessons in self-care, I would say.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Maxim, for sharing. And that, I
Pleasure.
guess, resonates with most of us and even me. Like, I mean, if you look at positive ways, there are a lot of positives that can come out. And I'll share one of my personal story or personal positives, apart from, of course, the new skills that I learned, like cooking. So to say, yeah, that's at the beginner level, but nevertheless, I have attempted. So we'll start off, Azura. I just wanted to share with you guys. I saw your website. I saw your company logo. If you go to the first slide, I'll just give one liner on that. Not sure I've done justice to the color. It's not that easiest font, and as you know, with all the BCP work, we have swamped with work. So I did make this at the last moment. But if you see, I've strategically placed my picture with the background being Google because I know who is the audience. And this is exactly the KL site, which Azura might be familiar of, and she was speaking. So yeah, that's the marketing in me, I guess. If you can move to the next slide, Azura. So yeah, this is just a funny footnote to start off. I was checking in my mobile, who is Samir? Like, how on earth with folks I have never worked on in the other part of the continent would know and suddenly see a newsletter or a infographic that Samir would be speaking. But yeah, I'm not a celebrity. If you go to the next slide, this slide I don't want to spare anything. This is kind of my journey. And since Azura asked me to share my journey, I'm doing that. Not necessarily I'm giving a interview or bragging or anything to do with myself. But like there are a few learning points I can share after that, and we can open at the end for any questions. So yeah, I'm born in a place called Calcutta. So that's the first picture on top left, the picture in the background. That's called something called Victoria Memorial. So I'll give you, so in other words, again, the marketing in me, I'm promoting my hometown in case you want to Google. But jokes apart, that's been a wonderful city. It's called the cultural capital of India. It's in India, by the way. And I have done all my studies over there. In 2011, I moved to a city called Hyderabad in India. So that's the second picture from top left. And that was my first reaction when I literally landed in the station. That's my first time away from home, 2011, and I was totally clueless what I'm going to do. Just important note I must say. So I moved to the other city. I told my parents that I got a movement of my existing job, but that wasn't the case. In my hometown, I was not getting much option, and the city was dying. So I thought it's good to go to a city where I see possibilities. So I went there. It took 2 to 3 months, and it was tough time because when you don't have a job, trying to get your rent and stuff. But yeah, we succeeded, and then I was associated, as Azura was hinting at, with Genpact in the Google Ads ecosystem. That was in 2011 itself. So I think most of the people here in the call in some way or the other associated with the Google program. And trust me, I've done all of the roles. I have started as an associate, an account executive, a sales representative, account manager, campaign specialist, subject matter expert, quality analyst, team lead, and then I finally found my passion in training. I'm those kind of guys like who became trainer by accident, I guess. So our existing trainer had to leave immediately, and I was asked to do it. And I said, "Oh, hold on a minute, this is amazing! Like I love people. I love interacting with people, and those days we used to have back-to-back batches. Google as a client is, most of you might be agreeing that yes, there is a lot of ramp up plan, and not necessarily we do have the luxury of a lot of time to plan. But that was also good for me because every month, and that was a 4-week program, every month I used to meet new set of 30 folks. So that was amazing experience, sharing and learning from each other, understanding different perspective. It was quite a journey. After Genpact, I joined a company called Regalix, which was also starting its operation over there with Google Ads. So I was initially in the customer experience, then went to the sales. So I was leading the training team by that time. I've moved up the ladder. I was one of the first few members to join that startup phase, and that company is running scalable operations today as we speak in with 1,000 odd folks. 2015, I got a call from the company with which Azura was also associated. That's in Kuala Lumpur. And of course, like I have taken that offer. It took some time because I never thought I'll move out of India. It's the comfort zone, it's the friends. But I think for folks who have moved from a different city, you'll understand what would be the pains for the initial days when you don't have anybody, and literally you're trying to find everything on your own. But it was a roller coaster journey because you learn in a lot of ways how to deal with you internal emotion. So 2015 to 2018 end, I was in Kuala Lumpur, and it was a roller coaster ride. We were associated in launching new sites. I remember I went with Azura to Australia, where we were associated with a site. I went to Japan, and for that particular company, it was a wonderful, wonderful journey. But with all the good things, there are also some cons. So uh, I thought I'll not refer to this, but somewhere or the other, I thought my story would be incomplete if I don't mention this. Is during that period when I was away from India, like 2017, I lost my dad, and I could not go and pay him visit actually. So yeah, that is one repent which will be there for quite some time. I'm not a person who repents anything, but yeah, that's the sense of helplessness. But moving on, 2018 December, the first picture on bottom left, that wonderful life even happened. You see, that's me with my beautiful wife Shweta, and she was super proud when I joined this call today. So yeah, that was a good life journey. And after that, just, I mean, by that time I already got the offer from Facebook, and I moved to Singapore. So that's the bottom middle picture, and that's one of me delivering a all hands, something like this, that you guys are doing today, in those beautiful world where we used to have physical interaction. So yeah, it was an amazing journey in Facebook. So I've moved couple of roles, and it's a, like any global company like Google, it has huge immense impact. I worked with a lot of cross-functional partners and learned Facebook is an amazing culture where you have people from different walks of life. Literally similarly like Google and Singapore being the APAC headquarters, we really had an amalgamation of people from different walks of life, different cultures, countries. And I cherish every moment of that. Right now, my role is partner learning manager, where I work with the partners from the learning lens. The bottom right picture, I put it intentionally. That's kind of my dream, not necessarily stranded on a boat in middle of water, Sydney, but it's more about traveling. So that's one picture. I love Australia, and this is somewhere in the middle of the sea, I guess. And I put this intentionally because this picture is being clicked by Azura actually. So yeah, but like I love traveling. So that's a little bit about my story. But from my story, I want to go to another important story. Azura, if you can go to the next slide, please. Okay, I don't know how many of you have known this person. So this is Ross Savage. I'll give you a quick brief about the story, and I'll tell you why I mean, I like that story and I wanted to share. Is she was a management consultant, was working in London, had a house, was doing a really decent job, and then she decided like, hold on a minute, this is not what I wanted. I wanted to travel, and she wanted to be the first woman to travel across the Atlantic. And then she actually sold all the stuff and bought this one, the picture that you see here. And it took time, and like she was not a great cook and like getting the food and all, but eventually she traveled the Atlantic. And she has also, if I'm not mistaken, as on date, she has traveled more than 8,000 miles. And there are amazing TED Talks to that, a couple of videos. You might want to look at it later. But what it says is, what's your, like, believing in what's your best possible future. I don't want to sound like a TED Talk thing, and I will be super honest. I don't have that lofty dreams. If you ask me, I'll never have the courage to sell my house or anything for that matter, even my car, to go for that. But yeah, it's up to us. Whatever we define, it's at the end of the day how to become happy, how to be uh, speaking to your inner self, what makes you happy. So what I want to, like, with this story, what I always try to dream of is I should not have much of finite possible future. It's okay, it's good to think big. and let's see where we go, because at the end of that, it's the journey that matters. And when you look into the mirror, you give a pat on your back, you said well done. So that's what matters. So I wanted to share this story because that resonates with me. And I thought, okay, what I wanted, definitely not selling my house, but definitely will go for long vacations. So I want to travel more countries. And then if you go to the next slide, Azura, and when I just thought I want to go to more countries, that's when this happened. The picture on the left might sound familiar, might look familiar, though we don't want it to be familiar face for long. We have had enough of this. But the right one, the poster, is actually like, this is from our government, Singapore government, that's pasted in our condos and in front of offices. And it's a tough time for the last couple of months for all of us, actually. And then what I thought, okay, I dreamt of traveling a lot. Of course, like, I'm happy with the current job and like trying to excel in the job. We are kind of high performers, everybody, so that will come naturally. And but the thing is that, what's your more inner motivation? I always used to look at that time of the year when I'll travel. So I planned my tickets actually in the next 2 months. I don't think that will happen. So what do you look up to? So I thought, hold on a minute, I haven't invested in myself. It's been quite some time. I was doing work, I was executioning. So let me invest in myself. And I told myself 2020 is when I will study and learn. And if you go to the next slide, the headline that I gave is lifelong learner. That's a hashtag. It's not new, everybody uses it. But if anyone, and I saw in the poster, you guys have my LinkedIn link. If you go to the LinkedIn link, few of the certifications I have done in the last couple of months, I've always posted with this hashtag. So what I did is, and these are only few samples, and like, since I'm by core a passionate of digital marketing. Right now, of course, I'm into the learning and development field. So I thought, let me enhance my skills in digital marketing. So I went to the extent of completing few Facebook blueprint courses, all the Google Ads courses, because right, I had the certification, but it goes through your normal retake after 1 or 2 years of licensing. I understood, or now I'm aware of a lot of new features which got added in the last 1 year in Google ecosystem, because I was too much focusing on Facebook. Then you have the Twitter School, you have HubSpot, SEM Rush, so many all free tools. I've listed few of it here, and this slide is with Azura, so I've hyperlinked this. What I'm trying to say is, like, I thought that I should invest in myself. And if I look back in the last 2 months, I think I've done more than 10 to 15 certifications. Not to forget the MOOC courses, right? You have be it edX, you have Coursera, you have LinkedIn Learning. But at the end of the day, it's all about investing in yourself. And since the team here works on the digital marketing or Google Ads space, there's a few other resources I follow, not necessarily you have to, and you find your way which resonates with your future state. But what will keep you happy? Invest in yourself. It will reap benefits, not necessarily in regards to pay hike or a job change. That's pretty materialistic. It's all about learning new skills. With that note, if you go to the next slide, Azura, I'll try to end. I'm mindful of the time. We started a couple of minutes late, so I'm probably exceeding a couple of minutes. That's okay. So this is a famous personality. I think few folks might know. In case you don't know, like, yeah, she's one of my hero. Because I adore her. And there's also another reason, honestly. She's from my hometown, Calcutta, India. But yeah, one of the quotes from Mother Teresa is, it's not about how much you do, but how much love you put into what you do is that counts. With this wonderful inspirational note, I try to follow in loving what I do. With that, I want to, again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all to hear me out in these troubled times.
Thank you, Samir. It's very, very inspiring. We have prepared a few questions for yourself,
Sure.
right? Don't worry, it's not the very hard and difficult question.
No,
Um,
I'll just stop for 1 minute, Azura, and like, I wanted those questions because with this wonderful presentation, I would hope and pray that sometime when travel restrictions go away, you call me for all those trainings in your wonderful site.
Cool. So the first question is a very interesting question. It's like looking back at 5 years ago, what was
Mhm.
the biggest challenge you have seen for digital marketing and it's worked very well in 2020?
That's a good, very very thought provoking question, because in the digital marketing space, I think all of you know, 5 years is a long time, right? A lot of you, I mean, a lot of us are not very clear what will happen, how the industry will shape in the next 2 years. Forget about 5 and 10 years. But I'll be super honest. I was in that space in 2015, and 2015 is the time when I joined the Kuala Lumpur team. I always knew digital marketing had that potential. I'm a student of mass communication. Advertising was there, but I knew the world is moving digital in some way or the other. And at that time, the biggest challenge, if I have to put it that way, is the awareness. Honestly speaking, the small and medium businesses were not really aware. Most of them were not even willing to spend even $1 on online advertising, right? And most of them used to come up with the common narrative that, yeah, I don't require, I'm a small business, I don't require online advertising. But at the end of the day, everybody requires that, right? So I think the shift is happening. It's still much less the digital literacy, but yeah, I think the shift is happening, and we can see in agencies spending a little bit more, small and medium businesses reallocating their budget. But again, COVID-19 has put a little bit of dampener on that. But hope that answers your question, Azura.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. I mean, so I also started, I think, around 2012. I
Mm-hmm.
start right because I don't know, because I think we start with the developing market, which is like
Mm-hmm.
most of the customers say that, I like to advertise through spaces that I can actually see and feel, which is
Mm-hmm.
like, for example, digital marketing is not something that you can see by yourself, right? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
designed for your customer to see it, not yourself.
That's right.
The second question is actually coming from myself, right? We've been working with the Google project quite long, and
Mm-hmm.
now we're actually working with Facebook, right? What do you see the difference, and what do you see the similarity between these two companies?
Oh, there are a lot of similarities. I'll not go or glorify a little bit on the differences part. But yeah, there's a lot of similarities, because like if you speak about digital marketing, these are the two big players, right? And an
Mm.
advertiser or an agency definitely needs to go through this, both the platforms. So I see a lot of similarities in regards to uh, be it how we are targeting, or how a marketing strategy is working, be it like small and medium businesses, be it agencies, and what are the different initiatives. Because I think both the companies are investing huge, a on lot of education, digital education. So that's where all the free platform, and that's where we have all the events where we call all the agencies and small and medium businesses. The second thing is, I think both the companies are super committed in the social good. It's not only the philanthropy part. I'm speaking more about like helping small and medium businesses, democratizing advertising, because earlier it only used to be the big players who has the money who can advertise, right? So now even a small auntie who is working, or who has a very small shop doing a cupcake, can advertise and reach the required ROI, or whatever you call it, ROS. So I think both are going in the right direction. There's a lot of work to be left in regards to internet coverage across the globe. But yeah, I think the similarities is digital literacy and penetration, so to say, in developing markets like India, markets like Brazil, so on and so forth.
How
I'll,
about
I'll
the
touch base on the differences, because I don't want to glorify. Both are very close to my heart. And and I don't think I want to get into any legal trouble. But yeah, jokes apart, is like the differences, I think, and on a very product level, that's a separate thing altogether. I'll not go into nitty gritty. I'm sure you guys have a wonderful sales material, the competitive analysis, how the audience targeting and all is happening. But I think the difference is more about how we approach with different formats. I think both has, I mean, both can coexist and both has its own formats. And if honestly speaking, if I'm an advertiser, I'd be a fool in investing one and not investing on the other platform. I think both has the potential to reach my messaging to a mass audience in different formats, be it your awareness goal or be it your performance or direct response goals.
Cool. It's just funny because I remember that those time when we are working together, right? You are the one who actually building the content, like how to actually, shifting people who actually investing on Facebook to Google. But right now, I think you have to do another way around, right? The next question that I have is like, you start your career, for example, from account strategies, from the product, and for example, you be a leader, right? But why you
Mhm.
to training department, and what actually the train what how the training department actually attract you?
Oh yeah, I'll be super honest. As I said, the first training session that was I'm a trainer by accident, but then I thought this is immensely satisfying. So every day at the end of the day, when I go home, I know that today I taught a new concept or something new to 30 odd folks which they never knew before today.
Mhm.
So it's hugely satisfying. And now as I've grown matured in the learning industry, I think training can be one of the most satisfying career journey for everybody. And not necessarily you have to be a trainer or in the learning and development. In whatever role you are in, everybody is a trainer if you look at it that way. Even a team lead coaches or trains sometimes, the subject matter experts, the VP and the top executive leaders actually does a value proposition for the company or even external industry talk. So there is a public speaking, there's a training element to it. But yeah, the training industry also matured from being only a training delivery right now to more into learning technology, learning theories, introduction of neuroscience, measuring learning effectiveness in much more efficient and consulting ways.
Cool. And I have one last question, and I think I can open to others after this.
Mhm.
um if for example, if you be able to like look back your 5 years back, and
Mhm.
you have a power to change something, what are you going to change?
Oh, definitely. I know it very well. So the power to change would be some way or the other, I would have kept dad beside me. And we would have worked something out. Either I would have been relocating there if I would have known that he will leave me so early, or he would have relocated with me. So that's the superpower I would have definitely applied if given a chance.
How about the career shift? Like, would you change
Oh,
something in your career journey?
in the career journey, I don't want to change any bit of it because I mean, you know, right, when you collect stones, so with whosoever peer I work, whosoever manager I work, all these years, all these days, it's hard work, and I'm collecting those stones. And all the learning that I have today, that's a rich experience where you learn from the ground root level. So I wouldn't have wanted any faster or any change perspective. I'm loving this space, the online ads and the learning space.
Cool. So that's my last question. So, guys, anyone, if you want to ask question, feel free to jump in the calls. I'm gonna mute myself. Okay. Anyone? And people are good. Everyone's good.
Yeah. Or I've spoken too much, either of it.
No worries. So look, Samir, if there is no more question, I think we can close this particular session, right? All good, yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for your time. I know that it's quite late for you, right? Because it's a Singapore time, which is
That's
like
absolutely okay. We work in global teams, so I'm used to this late night calls.
no worries. So thank you so much for sharing your experience. I think it's very, very valuable for us.
Thank you so much, Azura, and the entire team for inviting me. The pleasure is all mine, and I really feel honored and a deep sense of gratitude. I just hope and pray that everything goes well. One of my vacation list place is Barcelona, and I know Azura would be a wonderful host. Hopefully, one day when we go there, we'll meet you guys for a glimpse. Yeah, but thank you so much, and stay safe, guys.